Hey, Darren.
Hey.
Hey. We always laugh at the beginning. It's like, how do we start this thing? Jumping in. That's
Right,
okay.
right.
We'll get good at it one day. Maybe another 50.
Episode 100,
episodes.
we will have it.
Oh, is that a promise?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Be
All right.
streamlined by then.
So give us another year or so.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, good deal. We'll count on it. Speaking of counting, count points on Saturday.
Did I count points?
Yeah.
In the NBA?
No, Tennessee, Alabama.
Oh, no. But I was talking about the...
Oh.
Did you hear about the NBA?
No.
We shouldn't talk about this now.
What is the NBA? Oh, no, I saw something, but I don't follow NBA or care one bit about it. So
yeah, like rigging machines and poker and also rigging games. And so it's crazy.
Speaking of, the Dodgers are playing this weekend.
Speaking of we know baseball's rigged. We know that. Anyway.
Okay. No, I had heard something about that, but yeah, I don't follow it too much, too closely.
I just saw it on the news. It's interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
But yet, it's okay to do betting.
It's
sports betting, and they're promoting it on the games.
Yes.
And
the funny thing is, they said that the legal gambling was actually the victims.
Oh, yes. Oh, poor guys.
I know.
Poor guys.
It's crazy. We live in a crazy world. We live in a crooked and twisted generation, which will be this week, Chad.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a transition if I have ever heard of one before.
Yeah.
It's fall. It's crisp air.
Love it.
You like your pumpkin spice lattes?
Oh, yes. I'm a pumpkin spice.
Are you really?
Yes. Give me a pumpkin spice something or give me a pumpkin cold foam.
Really?
Yeah, that's the only time I really, other than that, I don't care. But,
huh.
Yep.
Would not have pinned you for that.
I know, because I'm a burly guy.
Yeah.
It's
manly. And
I get, are you a lumberjack? I'm like, no, I'm not. But I look like it. I know. I get it all the time.
No, let's see. I bet about the only creamer I'll do in a coffee is like a hazelnut.
Okay. Yeah.
Special occasions, though.
You're pretty frou-frou. That's,
Yeah, that's very. What type of coffee do you like? Okay, so any fall activities going on for your family? Anything fun or exciting coming up?
No.
Gotcha.
No, we'll do the trunk or treat with the church.
Oh, yeah.
And our neighborhood always does a big thing, but that's about it.
You got a costume ready?
No,
you don't.
No, my family has made me do that several times, but no, there's
nothing in the works, huh?
No, absolutely not. I will come as grumpy old guy.
There you go.
Like normal.
That's not a costume, though.
It works.
It does. Yeah. Okay. All right. So enough of that. Philippians 2, original passage was 12 through 18.
Yes.
He said, no. It's too much.
Too much.
Can't do it.
Yeah. As
Take
we
that
discovered
down.
with the Acts series, with Philippians series, with even the family series, trying to stay on a schedule, sometimes just, I think you could say like, well, the Lord told me, or we could just say, you know what? This verse is packed full. We need to spend some more time on it.
And there is some truth to that. Like we do, we do our part of trying to plan some things, but then leave some room for the Spirit.
Yeah.
We'll get into some of that today.
It's like, man, God's like, this, I packed a lot in here, you know? So, and Paul is so passionate and so practical. This week will be very practical, so it goes from
this coming week.
Yeah. This coming Sunday, will be in verses.
This past week was not practical.
No. I mean, like deeply theological things that move to a very practical application because, and we said it Sunday, Paul never, I'm not saying it the way I said it, but he never there's not a disconnect between knowledge and obedience, action. There's always something. So the knowledge of who Jesus is that he's been establishing in chapter 2 always leads us.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, that's from the very beginning of the books.
Yeah.
Is both hear and do them.
Yeah.
So it's the same kind of thought. It's the teaching the doctrine, and then so that you follow it out with your life.
Yeah.
To live your life worthy.
Yeah.
Kind of
Everything
passage.
comes from doctrine. The way we live our lives, the way we parent, the way we our politics, our compassion, everything comes from the doctrine that we learn from Scripture.
Yeah, and the passage that we covered and the topics that we covered, really the last 2 weeks, because the week before that was even a lot of doctrine and understanding that.
That was, the kenosis, Jesus emptied himself, and because of that, as you've obeyed, because of what you heard, continue obeying. So there's a lot of doctrine being taught.
For sure. So let's do this. Let's read verses 12 and 13, which is the verses that we covered. And then you kind of had, 2 main points?
Yeah, two main points that took an hour and 5 minutes. So, yes.
But rightfully so, and probably could have taken, it was an hour and 5.
It was longer than that.
Yeah, but you could have taken so much longer because it's such an in-depth study.
It really is. And
honestly, I mean, you stood in those two verses for quite a while. You could have gone to Ephesians and Galatians and Corinthians, and could have gone all over the place to support those thoughts with other passages that are similar, teach similar process. But
it's very difficult, because you want to just break down every word, every verse, and so. Yep. Our hope is that through something like this, a podcast, or just through the Spirit of God at work within us, that people are going home and they're getting their Bibles back out and they're slowly working through these other things that we just didn't have time, or maybe I will kind of throw a theme out there from a verse or original Greek, and then they'll run with it.
Wow. So what you're saying is a Sunday morning is not all you should be getting all week when it comes to interesting.
Yeah, Sunday morning are meals.
Wow.
And then you go.
Do other people know this? Like, is this a known concept in Christianity?
I think this is new. I think we pretty much just developed
came up with something
in the modern church in the last 100 years or so.
Create a program and sell it.
Yeah, there definitely wasn't a group of people called the Bereans in the Book of Acts that went home and studied it up and down. That'd be crazy.
Okay, enough sarcasm for today.
Yes.
Let's jump in. Let's read verses 12 and 13 of Philippians chapter 2. It says this: "Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure." All right. So give us those 2 mains, and then kind of give us the overall.
So the two, to me, the 2 main points are the responsibility of man, or our responsibility, and the sovereignty of God. Okay, so you combine those two, which we believe here, we believe, in that there is man's responsibility and obedience, that it is God in his sovereignty who works in us. And so Paul says it there, breaks it down. And so when you start reading the verse 12, therefore, you always go back. So we went back and read 5 through 11 to get us to 12. Therefore, because of what we learned in 5 through 11, he reminds them about obedience. Okay, you guys have already been doing this. You've been obedient. Now, whether I can come to you or not, here's what I want you to do. And he talks about their responsibility of what they are to be doing and living in this life, and then how to do that with fear and trembling, but to work out their own salvation. And then he follows it up by reminding them that it is God that works in us to do this work in us. So we started with our responsibility, and that is to work out your own salvation. So it was very important. Do you want me to go on?
Yeah, go for it.
So it was very important for us that we stopped and spent several minutes talking about what does this mean to work out your own salvation, that understanding from the very beginning that this is not a work for salvation, not a works-based salvation. I think that should be so obvious to us right now. I mean, by the time if you study the New Testament, Paul's writings especially, it shouldn't even be a factor in our consideration anymore. But we say it for maybe this is the first time people have heard it. that we do not work for our salvation, that salvation is a free gift of God, initiated by God, and then our response to that is Spirit-enabled. And Paul says, because of what Christ has done in you, the work of the gospel, the power of God in you through Christ, now work that out. So what does that mean to work out our salvation? So using a couple different examples. First of all, a Roman historian, Strabo, I don't know if it's Strabo or Strabo, he related the same word that means work out is katergazomai, which he used it to illustrate. He used the same word to talk about how they would extract silver from silver mines in Spain. And it was literally, they already owned, they had possession of the mine. Now they were going in and extracting everything they could out of that. So it's the same Greek word that he used for talking about silver mines. Paul used that word to talk about extracting from us all that God has done in us and kind of living that out or working that out. Because of the work that God has done in us, then we live that out. But also, we used the example of a tree, that God provides the seed, God provides the soil, He provides the air, the water through rain or dew. He provides everything. The tree does not provide anything. The seed grows into a tree, and then what is the tree's response? The tree's response is to provide wood, branches, leaves, fruit, that then drops more seeds, that God does the work again. And so that's, for us, we are here for the good pleasure of God, for His good pleasure, for Him to do whatever He wants to do with us. And it starts by what He does in us. And the work in us in salvation then produces fruit or produces work from us. And so the establishment of that is very important, that we know this is not a working for our salvation. It is a working out of what God has worked in.
So what do you define the term work? What do you mean by work? It is not by works that we are saved. What are those works?
Okay, so if to answer the second part of the question, what is it to work for our salvation? I believe is that how you said it. That means that we would call it a works-based or a merit-based salvation, saying that this is what most major religions are trying to do. They're trying to, based on their works or their merit, trying to reach some kind of higher power or some kind of end result, some kind of blessedness or peace or whatever it is, by doing good on this earth, like with our bodies, our minds, our lips, our everything is based on how well we do it here on the earth. If we do enough good things, then the higher power will bless us or accept us. But how do we know that our good things outweigh our bad deeds? Our good deeds outweigh our bad deeds. So that's merit based. Yeah. What we get because of what we've done. And the opposite, Christianity is the opposite of that. Christianity says, I'm going to give to you despite of who you are and what you've done. Christianity is about Christ coming to us, not us trying to reach God through our good works or our good things that we've done here on the earth. But a lot of people, that's kind of where we start. A lot of people, when they think about religion, they think about being a good person.
Right.
They think about treating people well.
Yep.
I try to be a good person. I try to treat other people well. I pay my taxes. I don't murder. I don't do the really bad things. And then my hope is that God or the being out there will accept me. That's works-based, merit-based, with some kind of end. In Christianity, it would be someone trying to work their way to heaven by doing enough good things or giving enough money or that type of thing. Yeah. So in the last couple of weeks, I referenced it Sunday, President Trump made a statement, and it was an interesting conversation regarding that, by the way. And President Trump basically said, I don't think that I'm going to make it to heaven. And he said 3 or 4 statements like that.
Which I would agree.
I just don't think that I'm going to.
I would agree that about myself.
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't done enough good things. But what he didn't do is follow it up by saying, "But thanks be to Christ who works within me." To he didn't follow it up, and that breaks my heart for him, for every person in the world that believes that, not just him, but every person.
Right.
And then he did say, "But I have made life better for some people on the earth." Which is like, okay, that goes back to a merit-based or works-based. Like, if I do enough good for other people, if I make the world a better place, then maybe God
I can make some sort of deal in the afterlife with that I have. Yeah.
What we fail to understand, that's starting from a place that we have some kind of goodness in us that just needs to add on some good works, and then we'll be accepted by God. Mm-hmm. That premise is flawed, and that presupposition is false, because Paul will tell us in many of his writings that there is nothing good in us. Yeah. The only thing that's good in us is when Christ breathes into us and we become a living soul.
Well, as we go about living our own Christian lives, we are called to make disciples of all nations. Part of that is the evangelism aspect of things. And one of the hardest things to do is, before you get a person saved, you got to get them lost and helping them understand their lostness. Because, I mean, a lot of people in Western society especially are, in a sense, comfortable. They don't think about the afterlife, and they think in the terms of their own works. They're a good person, society, those types of things, friend. You got to get them lost. And a lot of times that's the biggest obstacle to overcome when speaking to someone in an evangelistic type of scenario, is getting them lost, helping them recognize their need for salvation, and to overcoming the works-based salvation, that we're not saved by good works, we're saved in order to do good works. Right.
No one wants to be told that they're dead on the inside. Yeah, we all want to think that we're decent people. I mean, even a criminal or someone that we would say, oh, that person's maybe lower in our society, maybe because of things he's done. Even that guy may know that he's done some bad things, but everybody wants to believe that there's something good in us. And we are made in the image of God, our mind, emotions, and our will. However, spiritually, we are dead in our sins.
That's right.
Paul says in Ephesians 2, you are dead in your sins and trespasses of this world. And so I agree with you, getting people to say, I am lost. I am lost, therefore I'm hopeless. I cannot save myself from the state of which I was born in. I'm sinful, I'm lost, I'm dead in my sins. It's important that we understand, not just that I have sinned, but I was born with a sin nature. Because of that, I am dead in my sin. And the only hope for me is for the life to replace lostness, deadness. And that only comes through Christ.
Yeah.
And so when we start with that point, we're all starting on the level ground.
Yeah.
And that's a great thing, because there's no one better than the other. There's no one born better. Where you were born, how you were born, whether you're wealthy, poor, whatever nation you were born in, whatever language you speak, tribe you're from, everyone is dead in their sins. And so Jesus Christ makes us alive.
Yeah.
God, through Jesus Christ, makes us alive in him.
For each person, there's that process of salvation that he has saved us, he is saving us, and he will save us, process of sanctification.
Whew. Yeah, so we talked about justification and sanctification Sunday, and justification is that.
By the way, your terms at the very beginning, defining those, super helpful for everybody across the board. Just because a lot of times you hear words just being spat out, a lot of times,
words,
just kind of like, oh, okay, let me get back in reference. Just because there are some, not discrepancies, but there's some differences in between the different terms that we just tend to just throw out in conversation.
I had somebody message me yesterday that they had never really heard justification and sanctification in the same sentence, like broken down. Like, man, we need to remember that. Justification is that one-time event where from death to life. Salvation sanctification is a lifelong journey of God making me more like Christ over time. That I believe in progressive sanctification. I don't believe that it occurs at salvation. I also don't believe, and I just read an article yesterday from a guy that said that he has reached full sanctification here on the earth.
Glad you found my article.
Yeah, and he also has like 3 or 4 planes, and he's your article. I just heard that. So I believe that this happens in us over time.
Yeah,
I believe Paul is the prime example for that. That even Paul in his life, not that I've already obtained, I haven't reached that. I'm still working. I'm the chief of sinners. How many times did he tell us the things that I don't want to do, I do, and things I want to do, I don't do. So I'm a wretch, So it just shows that while we're the goal is that we are moving toward perfection, with the reality and understanding that we will never reach that here on the earth. However, it doesn't mean that we say, well, there's no hope. Because of Christ in me, the Spirit enables me to live for Christ. And when I surrender to myself, because myself, I am prone to sin. I am the old hymn writer said, prone to wander. Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. But here's my heart, Lord, take and seal it for thy courts above. So I feel that I'm drawn to sin. If left alone, I'm drawn to sin. Without the Spirit of God within me, without God moving me to Himself, I will chase after the things that are self-centered, that are good for me and those around me. Yeah. But the Spirit of God says the opposite of that. So in pursuit of perfection in this life, we will sin, we will fall, we will succeed. But the entire time God is at work within us. That is the work of God, perfecting to complete it. Paul said last week, complete my joy by being of the same mind. Complete means is perfected. So that's what God is doing. He is completing me, and He saved me. He continues to keep me, and then one of these days, when at the day of Christ, all of these things will be answered, and all of these things will be perfected in us. So understanding that I have a responsibility. This isn't I prayed a prayer and now one example that I gave was the let go, let God mentality. Like, you know what? God's sovereign. He's in charge. So I'm just going to kick back, Jesus, take the wheel, whatever. And let's just see what happens. And that's a passive approach, which on one extent is wrong. It's passive. Paul never promoted a passive work of God in us. On the other extent, the other extreme is legalism. And legalism says I have to do everything. I have to work for my salvation, and then I have to keep it by continuing good works, and it's all up to me. And both of those things, I believe, Paul rejects that in his teachings, as both of them are wrong. Yeah. That there is an active portion of our faith, but it is because, what does he say? It is the work of God in us. Yeah. So that is sanctification, is the work of God in us. And it affects both our work and our will, how He works in us, and He changes our will. So somebody says, I just can't do it. I can't live for Christ. I run back to my sin every time. And that's where we are in such need of the Spirit of God working in us to produce these things. So in one way, we do say, you know what? I can't do this. It's impossible for me to do this. But Paul says the Spirit of God is working in you. Now, live that out. And in our living it out, in our sharing the faith, this week we're going to say, hold fast to the gospel, hold fast to the word, that we are preaching and declaring the gospel. We're living out the gospel. We're doing good works in the name of Christ. And through that, we're growing in our faith as well. So I think I just unpacked a lot of it, but if you want to go back and hit anything. I just went through everything.
Well, I mean, so that's in a sense our responsibility. We have God's sovereignty as well. And I think a lot of people may not struggle. That's the wrong word. Maybe just misunderstand what is the point of God's sovereignty, in a sense of, you said it like, you let go, like let God. And if we live in that, we tend to just sit back and soak. Just type of mentality. Well, whatever's in the case of Rasa, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
We become very lethargic in our Christian life because we never go, like we're just waiting for God to go and just set that spark. And it's like, okay, yep, way to go, God.
Yeah.
And that is true. Like he is going to work and will his own way in every single situation, whether we or not. But our job is to live in submission to his will. Yeah. And a lot of times that is requiring action on our part. So talk about that in relation to, and you kind of already did. So, but it's in the sense of where do those two meet? And that's a hard conversation because it's God's going to do what he's going to do no matter what.
Yeah.
He already knows what is best. He already knows what is good, and it's going to happen no matter if
what will bring him the most glory.
Yes. Well, and I think that's the key point. That's the key part of it, is what's going to bring him the most glory is when his creation follows suit with his will.
Yeah. So justification is a supernatural work of God. Supernaturally, through Jesus Christ, we are saved. We are made right with God. Our sins are no longer counted against us. Our names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. That's a supernatural work of God. So is the work of God in us, making us more like Christ. Paul said it in Romans that it is God's will for everyone is that we be conformed to the image of God. That he called us, that he predestined us, and that's, we have those conversations.
It's a loaded term.
It's loaded. That God knew and he called all of us. We believe God called all of us to look like Jesus Christ. Paul says it earlier in chapter 1, have this mind among yourselves of Christ. So how does that happen? We tend to think that, okay, there are some that believe that God saves us. Okay, I can buy into that, but now it's up to me. And if I fail, if I succeed, all of these things. And that leads to bad theology and a bad theological end. When I understand that it is the supernatural power of God that saved me, it's also the supernatural power of God that keeps me and that works within me to produce things that I'm unable to produce on my own. Again,
we are incapable of any good work.
We're incapable. I use the example of our little dog that we have that if you set that dog outside, or if the door's open and we have two big dogs, and if they get out, they'll just sit on the front porch and because they know their food's in there, their bed's in there, their people are in there. But the little dog is a Shih Tzu Pomeranian. You put that dude down and he gets out, he gone. He going to the neighbor's house. He's going down the road. He's going to Canada. The tariffs. But anyway, so he's going to somewhere else. That's the way that I view myself. Like if left alone, I'll chase after the things that I want. But the supernatural power of God within me is what's drawing me to himself. The areas of my life that have changed for the gospel, that's because of Christ. My mind is changed from what it used to be. That's because of Christ. So the daily submission and working out of what Christ has worked in me is moving me toward this mind of Christ. Have this mind among yourselves.
And that was great imagery for me. And it's one of those pickup sets. It's so obviously there, but if you look at it, it's work out what God has worked in you.
Yeah.
That it's not our work that put him within us, but it's, again, I'll use your word, our responsibility to work out what God has put in us.
Yeah.
So to work out the Jesus that's in us.
Yeah.
So that others may see the good works and then glorify our Father which is in heaven.
And that is the goal of everything, is to bring glory and honor to God through Jesus Christ, we've been made right with God. So now our lives reflect the goodness of God so that other people, it's like the tree, the purpose of the tree. And then to make wood to be able to use for God's glory, but also the seeds that are dropped that other trees may grow. And that's the discipleship part, that so that they may glorify God as well. The word workout literally means to progress to the finish or completion in spiritual growth and maturity. So that's what my goal is. My goal is to be mature spiritually in Jesus Christ. To have the same mind that Jesus Christ has, to do the same things that Jesus has, to say the same words that Jesus said for the glory of God.
Amen.
And that's what Jesus did on the earth. He always pointed people to God himself. Think about the last couple of phrases that he said, Father, forgive them. They know not what they do. It is finished. Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. All these things were pointing other people toward the glory of God and the work that he had accomplished here on the earth. That work is accomplished in us. Yeah. And as we work this out, this literally throat punches passive Christianity. Like even those words don't even, it's an oxymoron. But somebody that says, well, whatever, no. And we need to start identifying that in one another and really, Hebrews says, let us stir up one another to love and good works. Why? Because this is what God has done in us, the supernatural work in us, and then the supernatural work produces works that come out of us. Yeah. It's important.
It is. And going back to your story about, is his name really Batman?
Yeah, because we got him from some friends of ours that live down the street. They named him as a puppy, Batman.
Okay.
And he's just a little black dog, and I don't know where it came from, but... it's kind of too late.
I understand.
I don't know what we would have named him.
So when he runs away and you yell Batman. Do you get looks down the road from the neighbors?
Well, he's got a little tag
There goes
on,
Batman.
And so we have a couple neighbors around us that are very, very sweet. And he has a Tennessee tag,
Okay.
So he stands out.
All right.
And on the back, it says Batman. It has my number. So one of our neighbors has come over 3 or 4 times, ring the doorbell. We didn't even know he was out. Because we let our dogs out for 5 or 10, 15 minutes in the backyard. It's fenced.
Yeah.
He was finding ways to get out. Yeah. I think he was jumping over it.
Okay.
That's not true. But I finally figured out there's a little gap in the fence. And it's just he must have been just like belly crawling under there. So they'd bring him back like, we've got Batman. And of course, the lady, she's like, we thought about keeping him, I was like,
he'd probably stay with you.
He'll probably stay with you, and he'll run away from you too.
Yeah.
Because he is prone to wander. Lord, he feels it.
Yeah. I told you earlier, but I feel like we all resonated with that because that's us.
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. But we've also had that dog. Like my dog's name popped into my head that I had when I was younger. When you were telling that story, like yeah, like, they gone as soon as you open the door, they gone. So, but yeah, I mean that is us. No matter how good the presence of God is, it's like we get so distracted by things, and that's our flesh, the pride, the lust, all the things that
it may not be terrible things. Yeah. It may not be murder and adultery but all these terrible things, but we're moving towards our self-centeredness instead of God being at the center. So spiritual maturity says God is at the center of everything. The way that I live, the way I believe, the way I talk, act, everything, God is at the center instead of me. So that's the pursuit that we're moving toward maturity in Christ. And Paul says, this is the work of God in you, both to will and to work. He changes my will. I don't want the things I used to want. I don't desire the things I used to desire. I'm able to put away that sin that used to grip me so tightly now because I've moved away because I'm more mature. Yeah. As a man, I'm 53. I should be getting more mature as a man. I should be putting away things that boys do and young men do. I should be moving towards maturity the same way, spiritually speaking.
What is it? Lay aside every weight that easily besets us.
Easily besets us,
and run the race. We talked about that in our youth group this past week. Run. It didn't tell us to just walk or kind of lackadaisical. Like we get to be that so much. He said, calls us to run.
Yeah.
Heavily pursue.
Yeah. I love that. I can't physically run as much anymore.
Ooh,
I don't know about you,
I hate the cardio. Cardio stuff is not
like I say zombie apocalypse, I don't know. I'm not a runner, but spiritually speaking, I'm running with everything that I have because the Spirit is at work within me. Paul was pretty harsh on other churches and other cities because of their lack of maturity. He said several times, like, you should be eating meat, but you're still drinking milk as a baby does. It's like, man, so that's the responsibility of man. We can't discount that. We believe this is a work of God. This is not a work of man. But Paul, he jumps on these other believers about how they are acting, their part in this. Again, not salvation, but because of salvation, now God is at work in us, and we are called to work it out and to move past the simple things, the very easy things, and to move into the deeper things.
Amen.
So,
where are we going this coming Sunday?
Well, he's going to follow it up in verse 14 by starting out saying, do all things without grumbling or complaining, which is interesting to follow that thought up, because it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure, do all things without grumbling or complaining. Yeah. So he even goes, to me, even doubles down on the responsibility that we have and how we respond to these things so that we shine as lights in a dark and twisted and crooked generation. And that, again, that's the purpose. The light of Christ in us is the work of God. Yeah. And then it produces light that comes from us because we're reflecting him in our lives. And so all of this is for the glory of God. Yeah. But we're going to talk this week about what that looks like. Do we have a divisive spirit? Are we grumbling and complaining is really an attack on God's provisions. And our lack of contentment is an argument with God.
Against his sovereignty.
Because we're saying, God, you haven't given me enough. You haven't provided enough. I'm not happy with what you are doing in me or around me, so I'm going to grumble and complain about it.
And then we've been around church enough to know that grumbling and complaining is the main thing that leads to disunity, which goes back to
the beginning. Walk, strive together. So all of these, I challenged, all of us, don't read Philippians 2 and forget about Philippians 1. Don't read this verse and forget about the immediate context. Helps us to understand. Like if we're reading 12 and 13, we need to go back and read 5 through 11. That gives us immediate context, like the verses right around the verse that we're studying. But then there's also a broader context to say, this verse reminds us of chapter 1. So we used all of his letter to interpret every part of his letter. But at the same time, we're looking at immediate context and a broader context.
All right.
So,
a lot of stuff.
It's good.
Keep it going. All right. Sounds good. Trunk Fest, October 31st. Sign up for Trunk. Got sensory.
Oh man,
sensory sensitive area.
Our team are just working to accommodate needs of every family.
Yep.
And I love that.
Yep.
It's so good. So good.
And then hit another one, Grandparenting Conference.
Grandparenting
the next
Conference
day.
Is the next day. That's 9. What is it, 9 to 2:30 or something like that?
Something like that.
If you'd like to sign up for that, if you are a grandparent or if you're getting ready to be a grandparent or,
want your kids to become parents.
Yeah, that's right.
Want to push them.
Go ahead and sign up.
Yeah, there you go.
It's just going to be a good, practical, encouraging day for grandparents. They're going to hear some things that may be challenging, but it'll always be encouraging them how they can step into that role of helping to disciple their own kids and their grandkids.
Awesome.
So
Very cool.
It's good.
All righty. Sounds good. Thanks for joining us this week. We'll jump in and see you next time. See you on Sunday. Thanks, Darren.